Now that you've got all these different calendars feeding in here, and you have the sort of the standard automatic stuff, now you can start to get into really owning your time. And that's really what this is ultimately about, is that you're going to have a better sense of your time, how you use your time, and it'll work almost like an antidote to stress. So now what you want to start thinking about is, right, let's say you have assignments to do, you have tasks to do. Where do those go in your calendar? Now you can think about this in a general sense. So maybe you've decided that 5 p.m. or not even 5, let's say 9 p.m. is the best time for you to do creative work. Now that might be a little bit late depending on what your bedtime is, but let's just say that you've decided that 9 p.m. is really a good time for you to do creative work. So you can actually start to block that out, right? Creative time. And this is a really important step because, so let's make this repeat every weekday again. Let's do that. And I'll put that in there. So this is you making a choice, right? To say that this is a time where I'm not going to be playing video games or on my computer or even maybe socializing. If you're talking to friends or something, this is a time where you are going to be able to work on something creative that maybe it's for school. Maybe it's just something you like to do. Maybe you like to write. Maybe you like to make movies. Maybe you're a budding filmmaker or an artist. And you're choosing that this is going to be the time that you're going to be able to do those things. Now, if you share your calendar with your parents, for example, or other people in your life, then they can become aware of the times that you've decided you want to do these things. And what's really great about this too is that it's not set in stone. So you have made a decision, which is great, that you want to have that time to do these things. But that doesn't mean that you can't adjust. So maybe you find that over the course of 2 or 3 days, like that just doesn't really work. So now you're going to try moving it to 8, and you just move it to 8, and we're going to make this all events, right? This and all following events. And now it's updated that. Let's look at next week. And so next week, see, we have these, but oh, look what happened. One of those creative times is going to conflict with soccer practice. So does that mean that we move all of it? Or maybe we say that on Wednesdays we don't do it, or maybe on Wednesdays we do it at a different time, or whatever, but it's your choice. And that is the biggest thing here, is you get to control your time. I can't stress that enough. Now, I want to show you what my calendar looks like so that you get a sense of sort of what this looks like at the, I guess, advanced extreme version. Now, brace yourself, okay? So this is my calendar. Now, I know it looks like a lot, okay? But I have my calendar of my stuff. I have my wife's calendar of the things that she has to do. I have the kids' calendar, which is all the sort of the kids' stuff. But then I've got the different soccer teams. I'm a volunteer EMT, so it actually has my shifts on the ambulance. I've got the Board of Education for our town. I even have the public library. Where is it? Right here, Princeton Public Library. I actually have this checked off right now because there's a lot of events. But if I click that, it shows up with all these things. So what that means is that if I'm, on a Saturday, there's a really cool thing happening at the library, I can see that that's a cool event and that's getting fed in live from the library. But, I've got a dance class that one kid has to go to and a soccer practice, so that might not work. It also means that if my wife and I want to plan an event together, like we can see who's doing what on one night. So it's really great information sharing to do that. And again, I know that this looks like a lot of stuff. I get it. So you don't have to necessarily go this far, but I've also got my kids, the Canvas feed coming in for their tasks. I've got Constella, which is a tool that we use at our school to talk to other parents. So there's events on there. Our local Jewish Center has a calendar, so that shows up here. So this is from the Jewish Center, and they all have different colors. And then there's also these all-day events. So I do some social media stuff. So these are social media holidays. It's Financial Wellness Month, Black History Month, Groundhog Day. So these are just things that I might want to be aware of because I'm doing social media for different organizations. So these ones up here are all-day events, right? So if you're creating a new event that's an all-day event, you would do new event there, and you can say that it is all day. And then it won't take up the whole thing. It'll show up at the top there. But I'm going to get rid of that because I don't need that. So again, as busy as this looks, it is ultimately my source of truth. And I find this very calming to be able to look at this and say, like, can I do this thing at that time? Can I do something here at, 8 o'clock at night? Well, so in this case, right, I have to be physically somewhere else for this thing for my son for film school. My daughter has a soccer practice. So that means that I can really sort of resource plan. Like, can I get there? Can I maybe do a call on the way? Whatever it might be. And because I have locations on all of these things, right, it means that I can plan ahead and know when I need to be reminded of them, all that stuff. And all of this syncs to my phone in real time. I actually do most of this stuff from my phone. So what we're going to get into next is how you actually start to manage tasks and how that relates to the calendar.